My best friend decided to offer herself to the commune leader who had long coveted her body. In 1977, when the college entrance exams were reinstated, both my best friend and I failed. She wanted a spot to return to the city. I risked offending the commune leader and did my utmost to dissuade my best friend. We watched as the educated youths who had gone to the countryside with us returned to the city one by one. My best friend thought it was all my fault, causing her to be stuck in the countryside. Together with the commune leader, she sent me to the bed of the village's crippled and lazy man. She snatched my university admission spot and went to college in my place. I remained in the countryside, where I was abused by the crippled, lazy man and brutally tortured to death. When I opened my eyes again, I had returned to the day she said she would offer herself to the team leader. After the onlookers had left, I dragged Luo Shui back to the educated youth point. The pain radiating from the depths of my bones jolted me awake. I heard someone whispering beside my ear, "Bing Bing, do you think I should go talk to the team leader about the city return quota?" Seeing that I didn't respond, Luo Shui slipped into my bed and pinched my arm with her cold hands. "I heard it hurts a lot the first time you do that. You're my best friend, you have to keep watch for me," I realized belatedly, goosebumps rising on my back. Breaking out in a cold sweat despite the May weather. In my previous life, Luo Shui had asked me the same question. I strongly advised her not to take shortcuts just for a chance to return to the city. A young, unmarried woman rushing to offer herself to a married brigade leader with a wife and children. That's nothing but promiscuity. She would have her head shaved in a yin-yang style and be paraded through the streets for public shaming. Later, the opportunity to return to the city was given to another female educated youth, and Luo Shui ended up resenting me for it. I grew up with Luo Shui in the same compound, and our families have been close for generations. We went to the countryside together. Luo Shui is tall and beautiful, with a curvaceous figure. She has always been outstanding since childhood and was adored by boys. When we first arrived in the countryside, the men in the village would stare at Luo Shui with greedy eyes. And some would even grope her buttocks when she walked by. I protected Luo Shui wherever we went, like a mother hen guarding her chicks. We worked as educated youth in the countryside for several years. When the college entrance examination was reinstated in 1977, we failed because we hadn't had time to review our textbooks. The other educated youth who had gone to the countryside with us either passed the exam and returned to the city for university or managed to go back through family connections. In the second college entrance examination, I was admitted to university, but Luo Shui failed again. She couldn't return to the city, and because I had often stood up for her, I had offended the commune leader, which cost her the chance to get a spot to go back. She hates me to the core. The day before I returned to the city for school, she knocked me out and sent me to the bed of the village's crippled idler. I was brutally played to death on the bed by the crippled idler. "Dong Bing Bing, this is what you owe me. You stay in this godforsaken place and enjoy it. I'll go to the university you got into in your place." I watched her in despair as she walked away with my college admission letter. A deep-seated hatred surged from the depths of my soul. My fists clenched so tightly that my nails drew blood from my palms. This pitch-black night concealed the hatred in my eyes. My voice was slightly hoarse. "This matter is too significant. You need to think it through yourself." Not getting the answer Luo Shui wanted, she pinched me again in dissatisfaction. "We've been best friends since childhood, and I can't figure it out on my own. Help me think it through." I only said, "We are good friends, and I respect any decision you make." This time, I no longer tried to dissuade Luo Shui from her plan to sacrifice herself. However, Luo Shui began to worry, anxiously pondering. "I've been observing for a while, and several female educated youths have gone to see the commune team leader, but there's only one spot. What if I give myself to the team leader and he doesn't give me the spot? If people find out that the team leader has slept with me, how could I go on living? What if we accidentally have a baby?" This time, I didn't stop her. But she started worrying on her own. I coldly gave a suggestion. "I heard that if you go along with the man during that, it doesn't hurt." Luo Shui blushed, pinched me, and said coquettishly, "So annoying. If I were as ugly as you, I wouldn't have this kind of worry." "Alright, I've made up my mind." I must get this chance to return to the city. I can't stand this damn place anymore. You know me, my academic performance is poor, and even if I take the college entrance exam again, I won't pass. Bing bing, you'll keep watch for me, right? Fine, I'll keep watch for you. You're my best friend, and I respect any decision you make. I sneered coldly in my heart. Luo Shui got the answer she wanted and happily discussed with me how to proceed. You have no idea. Those flirtatious women from the neighboring brigade go to see the brigade leader every day. I need to hurry and find the brigade leader too, otherwise someone else will get the chance to return to the city. After thinking for a moment, I said, the brigade leader's wife is known for her fierce temper. We mustn't let her find out. I need to find a secluded place, and the grain storage is just right. May is the time for late rice seedling cultivation, and there are people moving around everywhere in the village. The only quiet place is the village grain storage. I'll keep watch for you, and in return, you help me get an introduction letter stamped with the brigade's official seal. Luo Shui has always been someone who takes from others without wanting to give anything in return, so she was immediately displeased. Have you no shame? If you want a letter of introduction, go sleep with the team leader yourself, I said coldly. Forget it then, I considered you my best friend. But you won't even help with such a small matter. Find someone else to keep watch for you. Luo Shui saw that I was truly angry and pressed. What do you need the letter of introduction for? I sighed. My voice choked with emotion. I've been in the countryside for 4 years. My parents were sent down to a farm in Heilongjiang. I just want to see how they're doing. That's all. Luo Shui fell silent when she heard me say this, and it was only after a long while that she reluctantly agreed. I knew she was feeling guilty. It wasn't until my previous life, just before I died, that I found out. It turned out that my family being reported and sent to the countryside was all thanks to my good friend Luo Shui. Her family, unwilling to let their son go to the countryside as an educated youth, signed Luo Shui up instead, and she didn't want to suffer herself, so out of anger, she reported my family. Coincidentally, it was a politically sensitive period at that time, and my parents were sent down. With the help of an old friend, my father arranged for me to go to the countryside as an educated youth, assigned to the same village as Luo Shui, so we could look out for each other. In my past life, I was blind and foolish, protecting my enemy as if she were a good sister. It is May 1978, and there are still 2 months until the second college entrance examination. During this period, some people were rehabilitated, and my father was also reinstated to his position after my death. Now, if you want to return to the city, you either have to get into college on your own or rely on family connections to make it back. After the college entrance examination was reinstated, both Luo Shui and I took part in it. On the day before the college entrance exam, I caught a cold after saving Luo Shui, who had been pushed into the river by a man from the village. The next day, I took the exam with a high fever and, as expected, failed. As for Luo Shui, she failed simply because she was not a good student. It would have been a miracle if she had passed. I have always been good at studying, and with the memories from my past life, starting my review now is not a problem. If I could get into college in my past life, it shouldn't be difficult this time either. Thinking of my family suffering on the farm, my eyes welled up with tears. Since Luo Shui wants the opportunity to return to the city, I will definitely help her. However, it depends on whether she can handle such good fortune. The next day, I wrote a letter to my family and mailed it along with the things I had saved up to my parents. I started reading as soon as possible. Luo Shui, with her strong execution skills, dragged me along to scout the village. On the surface, I told Luo Shui we were going to scout the granary, but in reality, I was there to read. Luo Shui went to scout near the home of the commune team leader, observing the movements of the female educated youth in other brigades, as well as the activities of the commune brigade leader and his wife. There were too many men coveting Luo Shui's beauty. Wherever she went, men would approach to take advantage of her. Unable to bear the harassment, she coincidentally encountered the commune brigade leader several times on a certain path. They exchanged flirtatious glances, and one night Luo Shui pulled me along to go out, instructing me to keep watch outside the granary. I found a spot to sit down. Using my flashlight to illuminate the book as I read carefully, the sound of a woman's moans and a man's muffled groans reached my ears. By the time I was covered in mosquito bites, they had finally finished. Luo Shui, looking bashful, limped along with me as we headed back to the educated youth residence. Luo Shui's looks were the most outstanding among all the nearby brigades, and the commune brigade leader had developed a deep craving for her body. Once it happened again. Later, Luo Shui no longer needed me to keep watch, and rumors began to spread throughout the village. I received study materials sent by my father's friend from the capital city. In my previous life, after my father was sent down, I lost contact with my family. I got into college on my own merit, and I know my capabilities, so my choices for applying to schools were limited. Now, with these study materials, I have more options for schools. Luo Shui and the commune leader grew bolder, sometimes fooling around at his house, and sometimes taking off their pants in the grove to do it. While I was shoveling pig manure, Luo Shui was transferred to teach at the commune elementary school. I worked in the fields under the scorching sun, while Luo Shui drank tea in the school office. Luo Shui's behavior caused dissatisfaction among the other female educated youths, and whenever someone raised an objection, she would always drag me out as a cover, saying, "Bing bing," and I went to ask the brigade leader about review materials. Rumors began to spread in the village about me having an improper relationship with the commune brigade leader. Luo Shui was quite satisfied with my understanding. She got me a letter of introduction stamped with the brigade's seal. "I've been good enough to you, haven't I? I've heard that here Longyang has great mountain products and leather goods. Get some and bring them back. I'll use them as gifts." Seeing me reading books every day, she slightly lifted her chin and pitied me. "You're so unattractive. Besides studying hard to get into university, you have no other way to return to the city." With the letter of introduction in hand, I felt much more at ease. The quota for returning to the city has been decided, and Luo Shui successfully secured a spot. The gossip in the village grew even more, and Luo Shui called me to keep watch again. The squad leader is already in his 40s, yet is still so capable. It really disgusts me. Luo Shui complained with annoyance. I stood guard outside the granary, hearing the familiar sounds of panting and soft moans coming from inside. I quietly gathered the dry straw that had been placed around the granary earlier and piled it up outside the granary, then lit it with a match. I also retrieved the copper gong I had hidden earlier in the grass and quickly shouted toward the village in a strained voice, "The granary is on fire, hurry and put it out." The gong I struck echoed loudly, waking the villagers who rushed to the granary to help extinguish the fire. When I saw that the time was right, I hid the gong back in the grass and hurried to the granary. In the granary, Luo Shui and the commune leader were in the midst of passionate lovemaking. Completely absorbed in the moment, they were oblivious to the commotion in the village until someone kicked open the granary door. All the villagers saw the commune leader and Luo Shui, completely naked, entangled together. The commune leader immediately suffered a sudden collapse out of fright, slumping limp onto Luo Shui. A sturdy woman rushed in at an incredible speed and started tearing into the two of them. "Hong Jianjun, didn't you say you were on patrol tonight? Is this how you patrol? Right onto that cheap hussy, have you no shame?" The two were stuck together, and the commune team leader couldn't pull himself out. Getting beaten half to death by his own wife, Luo Shui didn't fare much better either, facing the men in the village staring straight at her. She was so ashamed she wished she could disappear into the ground. I stood outside for a while, enjoying their disgraceful state, then resolutely ran headfirst into the large tree. I was slapped by Luo Shui, which slowly brought me back to consciousness. Covered in marks, she glared at me furiously and scolded, "You wretch! Didn't I tell you to keep watch? Are you dead or something?" Lying here sleeping, clutching my forehead, I looked innocent and said, "I didn't. I saw the villagers coming and wanted to call you, but somehow I just passed out. Are you okay? Did they find out?" I pressed, "Who exactly knocked me out? Could it be that the team leader's wife found out about you two earlier and she did it?" Luo Shui finally noticed the swelling on my forehead and reluctantly believed my explanation, following my lead. She began to let her thoughts wander, pondering the matter. She impatiently turned her face away, not daring to tell me that she couldn't separate from the commune brigade leader. It was the villagers who went to fetch the village barefoot doctor. The doctor applied pressure to several acupuncture points before their bodies were finally separated. When the brigade leader's wife left, she took Luo Shue's clothes with her. Her completely naked body was seen by the entire village. Luo Shue's affair with the commune brigade leader was now out in the open. One day, she told me, "The brigade leader wants me to marry his son, saying it'll make it easier for us to carry on an affair later. Who the hell wants a future with him? That old bastard is ugly as sin but dreams big." Luo Shue had secured a spot to return to the city and would soon leave this godforsaken place, unafraid of the village gossip. The commune brigade leader wanted his son to marry Luo Shue. But his wife refused, causing chaos at home. She even stole and hid the brigade's official seal. Educated youths who wanted to take the college entrance exam couldn't leave to participate without a letter of introduction. Luo Shue clapped her hands happily at the educated youth point. "Anyway, you won't pass the exam, so don't waste your time taking it." The educated youth at the site, upon hearing this, reached the peak of their resentment towards Luo Shue, unable to hold back. A female educated youth rushed forward to hit her, and soon the male educated youths also couldn't bear it anymore, joining in to beat Luo Shue. I don't feel the slightest bit of sympathy for these educated youths. In their previous lives, these female educated youths also took shortcuts by seeking out the commune team leader. Just like Luo Shue, when they found out I had been defiled by the crippled idler in the village, they laughed and said it was because I was promiscuous. Why did the crippled idler not sleep with anyone else, but only with me? It must be because I couldn't bear the loneliness and didn't want to work in the fields to earn work points, so I climbed into the crippled idler's bed. In my previous life, I protected Luo Shue so fiercely that no man who coveted her body could ever succeed. In this lifetime, her reputation is now ruined. The men in the village always follow her, taking advantage by groping her buttocks. On the day before the college entrance exam, Luo Shue was walking outside when she was followed by the village's lame and lazy man. Taking advantage of her inattention, he pushed her into the river. The lame and lazy man also went into the river, moving up and down against her in the water. Luo Shue didn't know how to swim and was flailing in the river. "Little beauty, Big Brother is here to save you, don't be afraid." The lame loafer limped on the shore. But in the river he was as agile as a white stripe in the waves. Not far away, I shouted towards the village, "Help, someone, Luo Shue has fallen into the river, quick, save her." Villagers working in the nearby fields heard my cries and rushed over, jumping into the river. Several men, just like the lame loafer, groped around in the river, touching breasts and buttocks. Some bold ones even went as far as sucking on Luo Shue, leaving strawberry-like marks all over her fair skin. With a look of anxiety on my face, I shouted at the group in the river, "What are you doing kissing Luo Shue? Stop it right now. Someone is acting like a hooligan. Someone is touching Luo Shue, kissing Luo Shue, shameless. Get your hands off her breasts." The women in the village were not to be trifled with. They had long held a grudge against Luo Shue, seeing their own man like this. When Luo Shue was rescued, several women rushed up to tear and beat Luo Shue. I stood outside the circle, pretending to struggle and charge in. "Luo Shue, don't be afraid, I'm coming to save you. We are good friends. I will definitely protect you. Stop fighting. What you're doing is a crime. Luo Shue, don't be afraid, I'll protect you." I screamed frantically while rolling my eyes and looking up at the sky. In my previous life, I was abused by a lazy cripple, beaten from home to outside. The villagers watched with the same cold indifference. The villagers said it was only natural for a man to beat a woman. Now, these villagers said to the beaten Luo Shue, "This educated youth from the city is utterly shameless." Exactly, she seduced the brigade leader, and then went after other men. I explained to her, "Luo Shue isn't that kind of person. There must be some misunderstanding." The villagers looked at me as if I were a fool. "My dear, I can see you're a good person. You never slack off when working in our village. Always rushing to do the dirty and tiring jobs. You're just too naive and have been taken advantage of by this Luo Shue. She has you doing all her work every day while she just loafs around. The next day, I set off to take the college entrance exam, while Luo Shui lay in the educated youth point, burning with a high fever and with no one to care for her. This time, I was the only one among the nearby educated youth who went to take the college entrance exam with a letter of introduction. I knew that after Luo Shui's affair with the brigade leader came to light, they would definitely make things difficult for us educated youth regarding the letter of introduction. Other educated youths, unable to obtain recommendation letters for the college entrance exam, jointly reported the commune brigade leader for misconduct and also accused Luo Shui of using special means to secure a spot to return to the city. The commune brigade leader was removed from his position, and Luo Shui's opportunity to return to the city was revoked. When the college entrance exam results were released, I received an admission letter from Tsinghua University. It was only then that everyone realized I hadn't taken leave to visit family earlier, but to take the college entrance exam. The educated youth questioned my college entrance exam results, and some even reported me. Because so many people reported me, it caught the attention of the Education Bureau, which conducted a thorough investigation from start to finish. In the end, the conclusion was that my results were genuine. Luo Shui was bedridden with illness for a month, and when she woke up, the look in her eyes toward me became venomous. "Bitch, you only deserve a crippled lazy man. How could you possibly get into Tsinghua University? I should be the one going to university." I knew Luo Shui had also been reborn, but I pretended not to know and made her some brown sugar water. I asked with concern, "What are you talking about? If you study hard, you can get in too. Have some brown sugar water. Your body has just recovered, so you need to nourish it." Luo Shui tested me several times to confirm that I hadn't been reborn, but that my life's path was just different from the previous one. One day, Luo Shui said she had agreed to marry the village chief's son. The wedding was arranged in a hurry. "Before my school started, Bing Bing, we've been good friends since we were kids. Will you be my bridesmaid?" Luo Shui invited me. The hatred in her eyes was barely contained. I smiled faintly and nodded. "All right, we are good friends." On the day of Luo Shui's wedding, I wore dark-colored clothes. She asked me to help her fend off the drinks. "We have to save face for our relatives and friends, Bing Bing. So please drink a bit more on my behalf, using a handkerchief as cover." I discreetly poured the alcohol onto my clothes, pretending I couldn't handle it, and ended up making Luo Shui drink quite a lot. In the end, I pretended to be drunk, and Luo Shui, stumbling and unsteady, helped me into a room. I slightly opened my eyes and saw the lame idler actually in the room, rubbing his hands with a malicious smile. "Enjoy yourself. I'll go to college in your place. You only deserve a crippled lazybones." I turned to look at the door and saw a red figure through the crack. Knowing Luo Shui was standing outside eavesdropping, I took out the knife I had prepared earlier and pressed it firmly against the crippled lazybones' neck. "Don't make a sound. Choose between staying alive or getting knocked out by me." After knocking out the crippled lazybones, I quickly got out of bed, opened the door, knocked Luo Shui unconscious, and dragged her into the room. I stripped both of their clothes and placed the lame loafer's hand on her breasts. I pulled out their tongues and tangled them together. I arranged them in an intimate pose that would make anyone who saw it know they were up to no good. After finishing, I ran outside, found a child in the village I didn't recognize, and gave him some candy. The child brought a group of kids, ran to that room, pushed open the door, and saw the people sleeping together inside. Sleeping together, shameless. The bride is sleeping with the crippled uncle. The children clapped their hands and ran into the courtyard, shouting joyfully. The guests who had come for the banquet were curious and were led by the children to that room. Everyone was so shocked that their jaws dropped. The captain's son never wanted to marry Luo Shui in the first place. On their wedding day, he was made to wear such a green hat. He immediately grabbed a knife, intending to kill that shameless pair of scoundrels. I packed my bags and left for school overnight. At university, I was busy studying every day, and time flew by quickly. During the holiday, I went to the countryside in Heilongjiang province and saw my parents, whom I hadn't seen for many years. I discussed with my father the matter of Luo Shui's report and a series of events related to going to the countryside. My father's friend has been rehabilitated, and I have been corresponding with him. He has been helping to pull strings, in my previous life, after I died. I saw my parents with frost-white hair crying in front of my grave. They were frustrated that the rehabilitation came too late, causing me to lose my life. They took great care of Luo Shui, who was close to me during my lifetime. It is true that Luo Shui's family was thoroughly investigated due to genuine misconduct, making rehabilitation impossible, but all my family's resources were given to Luo Shui to use. Luo Shui assumed my identity, attended a normal university, and was transferred due to my father's connections, eventually rising through the ranks all the way. She was promoted to the Kyoto City Education Bureau system and, through my father's introduction, married a good man from a well-matched family. In the end, her parents passed away, leaving behind a large inheritance that was inherited by Luo Shui. Luo Shui stole my entire life, but she won't have that opportunity in this lifetime. In this life, Luo Shui has no chance to return to the city, and her reputation in the countryside is already ruined. Life in the countryside wasn't easy either. Everything I did was simply inspired by how Luo Shui treated me in my previous life. Didn't she enjoy using her body to gain benefits? I didn't stop her. Instead, I helped cover for her. She was jealous that I got into university and wanted to ruin me, but I won't let her have her way. I am wary of her. We grew up together and know each other well. In fact, if she had obediently married the village chief's son, her life in the countryside wouldn't have been bad, but she harbored malicious intentions toward me, wanting to ruin me. On her wedding day, Luo Shui was discovered by everyone lying naked with the village's lazy, crippled man. Both of them were slashed several times by the team leader's son, and blood filled the room on their wedding day. The police arrived quickly and handcuffed the team leader's son, taking him away. Luo Shui and the lazy cripple were left unattended, and Luo Shui was only sent back to the educated youth point. She had offended all the educated youths, and no one would bother with her affairs. Only the squad leader didn't want to be responsible for a human life. So he got some plant ash and sprinkled it on her wound. Luo Shui's reputation was completely ruined, and her injuries healed intermittently to some extent. She came to her senses and ran to the brigade leader's house, insisting on becoming their daughter-in-law. Every time she went, she was driven away, no matter how she begged the brigade leader to let her in, asking him to consider their brief affair. The team leader, who had lost his job, also caused his son to lose face on his wedding day. The son was sent to the countryside for re-education after injuring someone with a knife, and his wife fought with him every day. On top of that, after Luo Shui fell ill twice, her looks were no longer what they used to be, and he had grown tired of her body. Finally, the team leader came up with an idea. He told Luo Shui to go find the lazy cripple. Although he is lazy, with his old parents working the land to put food on the table, life is manageable. Back when I was around, Luo Shui didn't want to go work in the fields to earn work points, so she pushed it all onto me, with me earning work points to support her. Now that she's in poor health and without my help, she's worried she might actually starve. Luo Shui had no choice but to go to the lame and lazy man's house and start a life with him. During my sophomore year, my father was rehabilitated and reinstated to his position. Our family could be reunited again, and I moved out of the dormitory to live back at home. I was majoring in medicine, and during my senior year, I started my internship at Kyoto City First Hospital. Look how thin you've gotten. This is black chicken soup I've been simmering for hours. Eat more to nourish yourself. My mother sat at the table, looking at me with a smile on her face. Father sat on the sofa in the living room, holding a newspaper in his hand. Young people should fear nothing but hardship. They should serve the people. I never expected the Luo family next door to have the ability to get their case overturned, Father muttered. I slowed down my pace of drinking the chicken soup. It was already 1981, and almost all the educated youth who had been sent to the countryside had returned to the city. She's back, but I'm not afraid. I'm different from my past life now. Whatever comes, I'll face it head on. Luo Shui has also returned to the city. The next day, I ran into her in the courtyard. Luo Shui was wearing a white dress. She had become dark and thin, and her hair looked somewhat dry and yellowish. She was holding a child in each hand, and when she saw me, she quickly turned her back. A few days later, Luo Shui came to see me with gifts as if nothing had happened. Bing Bing, long time no see, it seems you're living quite well. I could almost see the jealousy overflowing from her eyes, and I just smiled. Not bad. Why did you bring the child back to the city? Did the child's father come too? I asked casually, but it made Luo Shui lose control of her emotions. She glared at me with venom. You bitch, are you trying to make a fool out of me? Clearly, in our previous life, you were the one who married the cripple, I was the one who went to college. Why are you living so well now, while I've ended up in this miserable state? I listened to her accusations and burst into laughter. It was me who got into college. With your failing grades, if it weren't for my tutoring, you wouldn't even have graduated from high school. It was your jealousy that ruined you. I just used your own tactics against you, Luo Shui, with your malicious heart. How dare you come back to the city dragging that burden along? You reported my father, and you still have the nerve to come to my house. Get out, don't ever come to my house again. Otherwise, if your father could be reported once, there can be a second and a third time. Luo Shui's face turned pale, and she took a few steps back. You've been reborn too, seeing me nod with a smile. She covered her head and kept denying it. She didn't know why. After becoming a mother, she had developed a kind heart. She could have returned to the city alone, but she insisted on bringing the twins she had given birth to back with her, perhaps because she had never had children in her previous life. She couldn't bear to leave her child behind in the countryside. When news that educated youth could return to the cities reached the village, her lame husband and his family locked her in a room. They were afraid that if she ran away, the child would be left without a mother. She injured her lame husband and in-laws, offered herself to the new production team leader, slept with him several times, and obtained the letter of introduction to return to the city. Only then did she return to the city with her 2 children. Luo Shui muttered to herself and ran out of my house. I took the prepared complaint letter and went out to mail it to the relevant authorities. The Luo family was soon thoroughly investigated again, and this time they were sent down for re-education once more. The house in the compound was reclaimed, leaving Luo Shui and her 2 children with nowhere to go. Luo Shui and her 2 children knelt in front of my house, begging me to take them in for the sake of our childhood friendship. I called the rural production brigade, and the lame man soon arrived, taking Luo Shui and her 2 children back to the countryside. During my internship at the hospital, I performed excellently and was retained as a doctor at the same hospital. Not long after, through an introduction by my supervisor, I went on a blind date with the hospital director's son. He is handsome, gentle, and tolerant towards me. So we quickly became a couple. Our families are well matched in social status, and we held a grand wedding. After marriage, my husband and I were deeply in love, and soon we had a lovely son. I did not quit my job because of marriage. I have been working in the hospital for decades. During a community medical outreach, I encountered Luo Shui, whose hair was frosted with white. At just 50 years old, Luo Shui's hunched and aged body made her appear as old as 80. Muttering to herself in the corner of the psychiatric hospital ward, "Mine, it's all mine, I'm the college student, you stole everything from me." My gaze caught Luo Shui's attention. When she saw me, she looked terrified and cried out, "Don't come closer, don't come to demand my life, I didn't mean to harm you." I stood there with a faint smile. The nurse at the mental hospital said Luo Shui was all alone. Her husband had died after drinking and falling on a night road, her son had drowned, and her daughter had died from domestic violence after getting married. Luo Shui had gone completely mad. Her in-laws' relatives sent her to the mental hospital, where she had been confined for decades. As I looked at the deranged Luo Shui, I realized that the hatred I once held had long since vanished with the wind. My life path is different from the one that was stolen in my previous life. My parents are healthy, and I have a happy family. I work diligently in the hospital, dedicating my youth to the motherland and serving the people. End of story.